I want to talk about when YouTube switches from being a hobby to a business, from community building to income building. We've seen it all before. People start out and they're like, yay, I'm going to create a YouTube channel. And they've got it all figured out. They're living in a van in Utah. They've retired to a beach in Portugal. They've decluttered their entire life down to a single backpack. They're traveling the world living in luxury on points, fabulous hotels. All these videos are interactive, they're fun, and they're living your dream, or maybe my dream too. But the bottom line is, we've seen them and we know it. We watch them, we invest ourselves, and then 6 months later, the masterclass drops. The courses begin. The Freedom Blueprint goes on sale. The Minimalist course is 50% off in the next 24 hours. You realize you're not watching a video anymore. These folks aren't your friends that you thought they were. You're sitting through a 20-minute infomercial. I've been taken by them too, over and over again. I don't know whether they start out that way or it's their end game right from the beginning, but almost every YouTuber I watch ends up going this route. I can only think of maybe 2 or 3 that didn't. So the truth no one wants to admit. There's almost no money in actually making videos on YouTube. Between the gear, which I've bought none. I said in one of the first videos that I'm too cheap. I'm not going to buy anything other than this cheap phone that isn't even a Samsung or an iPhone. It's a OnePlus that I got for $200. Maybe one day I'll go outside and film. It's actually interesting here. It's pretty, but then I'd have to buy microphones with fuzz bunnies on top and whatever to keep the noise out. So I don't think I'll want to do it. Then I'd have to get in the car and drive and suck up time from being at home and doing things around the house. So I don't know. Anyway, there's no money in it. It's just the gear, the algorithm, the AdSense. It's a losing game. There's no money in it. It's not the lifestyle. It's just selling the lifestyle. They didn't move to Portugal because they were rich. They moved to Portugal to get the backdrop they needed to sell you on a course on how to move to Portugal. They bought a van because they wanted to live in Utah, but ultimately they knew that's what they had to do to start their career on the road, and they were gonna, create content and clickbait videos, which don't even get me started on that. Why do they sell out? Well, let's talk about AdSense. It's a fun place to start because you think, oh, it's going to make me a ton of money, but that's what YouTube sells. Then the reality takes over. And if you dig deep, you can find out all this anyway. I'm not saying anything that's not new to the world, but it's where the hobby dies and the business takes over. So you figure, I got a little bit of income. I could just use an extra $50,000 a year to fund my hotel lifestyle of traveling in Thailand, or my RV down by the river lifestyle, whatever you want to live. And that 50 grand would be the push to send you to the next level of comfort. So what do you need to make that on YouTube using AdSense? Well, according to my research, it looks like you need about 10 million views, which is just this relentless treadmill of content production. But you can make the same money by convincing 100 of your faithful followers that you've got the secret sauce, that you know what it takes to live on points in Southeast Asia, that you can buy gasoline for $1 a gallon because you're using Upsell or Upland or Up, whatever the frig it is that they're selling these days. You know how to make it work. You can harvest hosts for cheap. You can do what it takes. You bought a used RV. You know the secret sauce, but all you've got to do is give me $500 and watch my courses and you'll be great. So what sounds easier? Spending time to get 10 million views, praying the YouTube algorithm will help you to strike it rich? I know it's not going to help me strike it rich because no one's even watching the videos I'm making. And like I said, this is all an experiment to prove my wife wrong because she believes the hype of it. So anyway, what's easier? This chasing the algorithm and the 10 million viewers, or just, I keep wanting to say but that's so cynical, but convincing 100 people to watch your course after you've spent 10 hours making it. So 10 hours create a course, or a whole bunch of hours to get viewers. I don't know. It just, you can see why they do it if they're after it for the money. Now, I'll admit it, I've fallen for some of these, and it's mainly the financial courses. The travel ones, I already know that's not going to work. Uh-oh, I hear my kids. Maybe they're going to bop in here. Hopefully not. Anyway, because I don't want to edit these videos because that sounds like a pain to me too. So back to the money. I've always doubted myself on financial decisions, because I've always thought I should have made more money, or I should have done better with investing, or I should have made more on the real estate I've bought. But or maybe it's that I don't know what's driving the next generation. I need to understand, like Bitcoin, for example. I probably shouldn't even talk about it because it's so divisive, but I'm just not there. I'm not sold on it. I get the idea that it's a finite thing and it's got its level of scarcity, but I'll just stick with gold because honestly, I understand it. I've looked into Bitcoin and I think I pretty much do understand it, but I'm far enough along in my financial journey. That's not what's going to drive me. A wealth builder for my children, maybe, I don't know, but they can have the houses. So, and the gold ETF or whatever it is I've got. Like I said, I try to keep it simple these days. And not the gold in my house, because I ain't got none of that. Because that's why I don't have Bitcoin, because I don't want it in my house. I hate having to hold on to a thing and maintain it. Because I lose everything. I can't even find my glasses or my pens or my pencils, so how am I going to keep track of a Bitcoin wallet in my house someplace? No thanks. So anyway, I know that, so like I said, I don't fall for these things except for the money ones, because I sometimes think there's value in it. And I did fall for this once, and not like a scam per se, but my wife and I used to have a financial advisor, and we used her for 10 years, and she was a nice lady, and I think she did an okay job. But I don't think she sold me anything that was worth the 1% a year for 10 years, which cost us probably 40 or 50 grand plus compounding gains lost, you know? And I could have just had a VTSAX that we all hear about, or you name the flavor, SWTSX, who cares, whatever. I could have one of those. And it would have made the same money, if not maybe even more, and I never would have had to deal with it. She gave us pretty presentations at the end of the year and convinced us to, believe the hype that she was really saving us money. I remember when the downturn happened in 2008, she had this big presentation how we only lost 17% as opposed to 25%. Whatever, who cares, blah, blah, blah. It was all just garbage. But so, anyway, and then you should have seen when I went to break up with her. It was like a bad divorce. I couldn't believe it. When I told her I was just going to do it myself, and she made it sound like I was in a nut job for even thinking I could do it myself. Now, on the other end of that, I recently told my tax guy, which another video I had before, that I was going to start doing the taxes myself. And you know what he said? I understand, and it's a lot of money to pay. And he basically goes, you probably, you're going to be fine. You'll do it. And he was really nice about it. And he goes, but if you ever get stuck and need help, I'm here for you. Super cool guy. And that's the kind of relationship I like having. One that says, I'm here to save you time and help you, but if you can do it, do it. And that's what he said. So again, back to these videos and this pipeline junk. Why did we fall for this? Well, I found out there's this term called the parasocial salesman. And I was like, what the heck is parasocial? So I had to look it up. And I'm going to read it because I'll screw it up because I don't really understand it completely. It says, in the context of YouTube and the content to course pipeline, parasocial describes a one-sided relationship where a viewer develops a deep sense of intimacy, trust, friendship with a creator who has no idea the viewer exists. So they make these channels and I feel like I'm their friend, but they don't know me from Adam. So the term was originally coined as parasocial interaction, PSI, by sociologists Donald Horton and R. Richard Wohl in 1956. There's 3 pillars of parasocial relationships. The illusion of intimacy, because you see the creator in their bedroom, their car, their house, their hotel room, their RV, whatever. They speak directly to the camera. I'm talking to you. They're your friends. They make eye contact. Your brain processes it. You see this face to face. You think they're talking to you. They know who you are. Okay, perceived friendship. This is the second one. You know their dog's name, their morning routine, their struggles. You feel invested in their success. Well, trust me, I'm not going to be successful, so there's nothing to invest in here. The one-way mirror. Now that I get. You see me, I don't see you. But the funny thing is there's no you out there because nobody's watching. I keep looking at those analytics, which, oh my golly, that's... I have a bad personality for that. First of all, I get sidetracked, but I'm very like, I'm the guy that has investments and I want to look every day and I have to convince myself not to. That's the kind of guy I am. I got to stop. But so with the YouTube, it's like, did someone look today? It just doesn't matter, because even if I got 100 subscribers today, no one's going to look because it's never going to make money. This is the point I'm going to get to my wife. So anyway, the second one, perceived friendship. The third, the one-way mirror. I provide emotional energy, which I have none. A persona. I don't have a persona. Well, anyway, that was the third, the one-way mirror. So we feel we know them. They've built trust, and it's fun and interactive. And there's an idea for this. It leads you to the money pipeline, and they have a name for this. It's called top of the funnel, or tofu in marketing terms. I thought that was cool. Tofu, top of the funnel. The transition from friend to coach feels natural, but it's calculated and it's a business pivot. Do they all do it? I don't think so. Is it evil? Not necessarily. We all want to survive. The world sucks. It's like employers aren't faithful. You work for some place and then they can you after 5 years. You want to own your own time, so you start a YouTube channel and you think you're going to make friends. And I don't know if people start out trying to generate community or dollars, but ultimately, folks need to make a living. So whatever. If you think they're selling you something that's worth it, buy it. I'm just too damn cheap to do it. I just know I am. So that speaks to this channel. If this channel even has a future or survives more than a few months, because to me, creating YouTube content is like a diet. It is hard. The returns are way off in the future, and it is just ridiculous. But this channel will never be tofu. There's no top of funnel. And the reasons are, I'm just too lazy to create a course. I know it. I just couldn't do it. It's just too much time. It'd take me probably 100 hours to create a course, and I ain't doing it. I'm just not. I got other things on my mind that I'm thinking about doing. The second is, I'm not motivated by money. I've saved my whole life. My wife and I, we live like tightwads. We drive old crappy cars that are well maintained and always have. I think my newest car is a 2011. The second one's a 2003. They're old. I don't care. And it's just far more work to do that than it's worth. We have enough money. We travel. We've traveled a lot, and we still do. I had to make a whole video about the whole Malaysia, let's move there, my second home content craziness, because people are all sprung on that, and that guy selling passports. I can't tell you how many YouTube holes I've gone down, and I've wasted too much time in my life. Don't waste yours. Probably didn't even watch it, so I know you're not watching mine, so you ain't wasting it. But anyway, we lived frugally. We can do whatever we want. We've made some crazy financial moves, and not bad ones, but like I've said before, we moved from a no income tax state to California to retire, which that's a whole nother video, because everyone said we were psychopaths for doing that and nuts. But hey, I like the weather by the coast, whatever. So where am I going with this? I think unfortunately YouTube is no longer a video sharing site. It's lead generation platform. The sell is on the way. The sell is the only way for the creator to survive, but I think the cost comes at the loss of the fun and interactive community that started it all. The reason I was hurrying is I think my kids were coming and I didn't want to edit this video because I'm too lazy. And it didn't end.